2 strokes, we're going to make 1 revolution, and that's an equal cycle. I still have the same 4 cycles, but the difference is in a 2-stroke I'm doing 2 operations at one time. And we're going to show you on one of these 2-stroke engines how it goes and does that. Big advantage of a 2-stroke, it's got the quickest response. If you've had a 2-stroke dirt bike, I mean, why do they use those in races? They're peppy. They're like instant. You hit the throttle, boom, it goes. It's got a very fast response. It doesn't give me twice the power just because it has a power stroke on every revolution, because that stroke is shorter. And when we actually look at this cutaway and look at it, instead of getting a 2 or 3 inch stroke like you do in a 4-stroke, I may only have a 2-inch stroke or a 1-inch stroke. And so I have half the power stroke. Basically it gets cut in half, but I have it twice as often. That's where you get the peppiness, is that you just get it twice as often. You just don't get twice as much. So I don't get twice the power. I do get more power out of a 2-stroke than a 4-stroke, just because I have less loss in momentum. And so that's why I'm going to get more power out of a 2-stroke. And I'm going to have a lot more power per weight because I have all those other components that are not there. So I have less drag and a lot less friction loss. So I get more out of a 2-stroke, but it's not going to be twice as much. 2-strokes have high-end torque. You'll see 2-strokes running at very high RPMs. A string trimmer, this is a head off of a string trimmer, and a typical RPM to run a string trimmer is going to be between 10,000 RPMs and 14,000 RPMs. You try to run a 4-stroke engine at 10,000 RPMs and it's going to blow up. There's not very many 4-strokes out there that will run 10,000 RPMs. I can't even name one, but if it did, that's pretty fast.
What's the power band about on like a motorcycle?
Power band on a 2-stroke would probably be between about 7,000 and up to whatever its top end is.
Why does it make it go?
Why? Because I can reach that power band so fast. Because I have a power stroke every time, and I can hit that power band, I can hit the RPMs really fast, and the speed and the RPMs is so much higher. That's why you're going to get that power. In a 4-stroke, let's say you have a motorcycle with a 4-stroke, and you hit the full throttle, you might hit 5,000 RPMs, it's going to stop. In a 4-stroke, you're going to hit your power band, you hit 5,000, you're just getting into the power band, you may run up to 10 to 14,000 RPMs. And that's revolutions per minute, and that's where your power comes, and so you're running super high RPMs, and that motorcycle just, boom, is gone. If you are standing at a dead stop with a 4-stroke and a 2-stroke, and they both hit the throttle starting at the same RPMs, the 4-stroke is going to lead, and then the 2-stroke will pass him up. Because a 4-stroke has low-end torque, and a 2-stroke is going to have high-end torque. And I have to get up to speed with a 2-stroke, but as soon as I get up there, boom, it's gone. A 4-stroke, its power, its torque is at the bottom end. It's not at the top. I just get speed at the top. But I'm also limited on my top. If I go too fast with a 4-stroke, what will happen? Your valves float. Because the valves have to allow air to come in and exhaust to go out. And what they call floating a valve, when you redline a 4-stroke engine, that's why they have a tack with a red line. When you redline it, what happens is the valves open, and the camshaft comes around. As the valve starts to close, it opens it again. And they call it floating because the valve doesn't have enough time to actually close. And you float the valves. And so you're sucking exhaust in and out, and you're pushing exhaust in and out the carburetor, and you basically don't do anything. The other thing that can happen is your piston can come around, and if you're floating the valve is sticking down, piston comes up, and your piston contacts the valve, shoves the piston either through the piston, the valve goes through the piston, or it shoves the valve right up through the head. And you usually scramble your engine. And so if you redline a 4-stroke, the chance of doing severe damage is really bad. It's really high. So that's why you don't redline it. On a two-stroke, since there are no valves, what's going to limit how fast the RPMs go is how much air and how much fuel I can put in there. That's what limits it.